Before the first light reaches the grass, the savanna is already moving. A buffalo herd stands in the dim gray of morning, breathing steam into the cool air. Their hides are dark with old mud. Their ears are torn by thorn and insect, and their legs are surrounded by a low cloud of flies. Under the hair, in the folds of skin, tiny parasites are feeding. Ticks grip hard. Larvae hide where hooves cannot scratch. The giants endure it because the savanna gives them no clean bed, no quiet wall, no safe place away from the small things that bite. Above them, inside a narrow hollow in an old tree, a life begins in darkness. The nest is not soft in the way a songbird nest is soft. It is a rough cup of dry grass, plant fibers, and hair pulled from the bodies of large mammals. The walls smell of dust, warm hide, and rain. 2 adult red-billed oxpeckers have carried the pieces here one by one, disappearing into the cavity with stiff feathers and strips of mammal hair in their bills. Sometimes other birds help feed the chicks after they hatch. Oxpeckers are cooperative breeders, and in a good group, a baby is raised not only by a pair, but by a small working family. For now, the chick is only an egg. It lies in a hidden chamber several meters above the ground, protected from hooves, claws, and most eyes. Outside, the breeding season follows the rains, because rain wakes the grass, grass feeds the herds, and herds carry the insects and ticks that feed the oxpeckers. The life of this tiny bird is tied to animals so large that the tree itself seems small beside them. Even before the shell cracks, the chick depends on buffalo, giraffe, rhino, antelope, and zebra. There is no cradle. Without giants, for almost 2 weeks, warmth passes from adult bodies into the eggs. The parents trade places. One settles deep into the hollow, feathers pressed over the clutch. The other flies out into the morning, heading toward the moving backs of mammals. Its claws are built for clinging. Its tail helps brace the body. Its bill is narrow, strong, and sharp enough to work through hair and skin folds. On a buffalo's shoulder, it moves sideways like a climber on a cliff, probing, pecking, scissoring its bill through the coat until it finds what it came for. The food that returns to the nest is small, but its meaning is enormous. A tick pulled from a flank, a larva lifted from the base of an ear, a fly caught from a sore place before it can settle again. Sometimes the food is taken from the edges of wounds or from places where parasites gather. The relationship is complicated. Oxpeckers remove ticks and insects, but they may also feed at blood and tissue where the skin is already broken. Some hosts tolerate them. Some shake them away. The bird is not a gentle nurse. It is a specialist living in the narrow space between service and survival. Inside the hollow, the egg begins to tremble. The chick has no image of the world it is entering. It knows pressure, warmth, and the thin change in air as the shell begins to give way. A tiny bill pushes from inside. The first crack is no wider than a grass seed, then another. Then a pale chip of shell loosens, and the baby oxpecker meets Africa as a blind, weak body in the dark. It cannot ride anything. It cannot cling to a buffalo, or call over a rhino, or hold its balance when a giraffe steps through thorn bush. It is bare-skinned, helpless, and almost weightless. Its head wobbles. Its eyes are sealed. Its open mouth is the brightest part of it, a signal in the gloom. When an adult enters the cavity, the chick rises only as far as its neck can lift, begging by instinct. The savanna outside is wide, but the chick's world is the size of a tree hollow and the sound of wings at the entrance. That entrance is everything. Food comes through it. Heat leaves through it. Danger may also enter through it. A snake can climb. A rival bird can investigate the cavity. Heavy rain can chill the nest if the hollow is exposed. Heat can build inside the wood when the sun climbs. And every minute the adults are away, the chick is alone with its siblings, breathing the damp air and waiting for the next shadow to arrive. The first lesson is simple. Survival begins with patience. The adults work from host to host. A buffalo gives rough hair and deep folds. An impala gives speed, tension, and quick shivers of skin. A giraffe offers height and a moving platform, its patterned flank rising above the grass like a living wall. A rhino offers thick hide and a world of creases. The oxpecker searches each body differently, adjusting to hair length, skin texture, ear shape, and the places where parasites collect. On long hair, the bill works side to side. On short hair, it pecks and plucks. Around ears and eyes, the bird must be quick, because the host can twitch it away with a single movement. Each trip brings back pieces of the outside world. The chick swallows them without knowing their names. Day by day, its body changes. Down begins to show. The neck steadies. The sealed eyes open to a dim brown chamber lined with the things its parents stole from mammals. The chick can see the entrance now, a bright oval where daylight flashes and disappears. When an adult lands outside, claws scrape bark. The nestlings rise together, throats open. Sometimes a helper appears instead of a parent, another oxpecker from the group delivering food into the urgent mouths. This is how a rider of giants is built. Not with strength at first, but with a chain of small deliveries. Rain comes again. It taps the leaves and darkens the bark. Below the tree, the herd shifts toward new grass. With the rain come more insects, more ticks, more movement. The adults follow the mammals as they spread across the wet savanna. The tree hollow cools. The chicks press together. One lifts its head and gives a thin call, a rough little sound that belongs to the oxpecker family but is still unfinished. The bird growing in the cavity is changing into a creature made for contact. Its feet strengthen before its courage does. The toes flex against the nest material. The claws test the rough wall. Oxpeckers must cling to living animals that do not stand still. A young bird that cannot hold on cannot feed. A buffalo shoulder can dip suddenly. A zebra's skin can ripple. A giraffe can sweep its tail or step forward without warning. The world the chick will enter is not a branch. It is muscle, dust, irritation, and motion. The chick practices against wood. It braces its tail. It pulls itself upward. It slips. It tries again. At the cavity mouth, daylight becomes a temptation and a threat. Outside, every sound is larger. Hooves thud in the soil. Hornbills call from far trees. Doves clap away from the grass. A buffalo snorts. The baby oxpecker leans toward the opening, and the sky appears as a hard blue shape too bright to understand. Then one morning, after about a month in the nest, the hollow can no longer contain it. The young oxpecker is not as clean or bright as an adult. Its plumage is darker and less defined. The bill is not yet the hard red blade of maturity. In young red-billed oxpeckers, it begins darker and changes color as the bird grows. Its eyes and face still carry the look of a bird between worlds, but the wings are long enough to answer air, and the feet are ready to grip something more dangerous than bark. The first flight is not beautiful. It is a fall corrected at the last moment. The fledgling launches from the tree and drops through warm air, beating its wings too fast. The ground rises. A branch flashes past. The bird turns, overcorrects, and lands hard in a thorny shrub below the nest. For a moment it clings there, chest moving, head low, alive but exposed. This is the second lesson. Leaving the nest does not mean being independent. For weeks, sometimes longer, young oxpeckers may still depend on adults and helpers for food. The fledgling can fly, but flying is only one skill. It must learn where to land, when to move, how to read a host's tolerance, how to dodge a tail, how to jump from a shifting back, and how to follow a herd without being left behind. A bird can have wings and still not know how to live. The adult calls from a buffalo. The fledgling watches. The buffalo is immense from this low angle. Its horns curve like old polished wood. Its ears flick at flies. Its hide is cracked with drying mud, and every breath moves the skin along its ribs. The adult oxpecker rides near the shoulder, calm and balanced, lifting one foot, placing it again, probing through hair as if the giant beneath it were a hillside. The young bird tries to join it. It flies toward the buffalo and lands too far back, where the hide slopes and the animal's muscles shift under the skin. The claws catch for one heartbeat. Then the buffalo twitches. The fledgling slides, flaps, and breaks away in a burst of panic. It lands in the dust, safe by chance, while the adult remains on the host as if nothing has happened. The savanna does not pause for a beginner. The buffalo herd moves. The young bird follows in short flights, from shrub to branch, branch to termite mound, mound to low tree. It watches other oxpeckers ride. It sees how they approach from the side, not straight into a swinging head. It sees how they land with feet open and body low. It sees how they brace with the tail and climb upward instead of sitting loose on the hair. It sees where the adults search first: ears, shoulders, neck folds, around wounds, and under the edge of mud where insects hide. The third lesson is distance. A young oxpecker must stay close to food, but not so close to danger that one irritated movement ends the lesson. The fledgling tests smaller hosts. An impala is lighter and quicker, less forgiving than a buffalo. The first landing sends the antelope's skin rippling. The impala stamps and shakes. The young bird lifts away. A zebra is no easier. The stripes make no difference to the claws, but the muscles beneath them are strong, and the tail is a black whip. A giraffe is almost too much to read. Its body is a tower, its head far above, its steps slow but enormous. An adult oxpecker can cling below the belly or along the neck. The fledgling stays on a nearby branch, watching the patterned giant pass like moving shade. Hunger brings it back to the buffalo. This time, the young bird lands near the shoulder, where the surface is broader. Its claws sink into coarse hair. The buffalo flicks an ear but does not shake. The fledgling crouches, wings half open. For a moment, the giant and the baby are joined by nothing more than grip. Then the young bird takes one step. It is a small step, but it changes everything. The buffalo breathes. The shoulder rises. The fledgling adjusts. Another step. A tick is tucked near a fold of skin. The young bird probes clumsily, misses, probes again, and pulls. The parasite comes free. The fledgling tips its head back and swallows. Its first meal taken from a giant is not dramatic. No herd runs. No predator appears. The sky does not change. But for this bird, the savanna has opened. The buffalo is no longer only danger. It is ground. From here, the young oxpecker begins to learn the map written on mammal bodies. Around ears, flies gather and skin twitches quickly. Along the neck, hair may hide ticks. On the back, mud can crust over old irritation. Around the eyes and muzzle, the host may tolerate only a brief visit. Near a wound, the line between feeding and harm becomes thin. An oxpecker may take blood or tissue from broken skin, and that can slow healing. The same bird that removes parasites can also make a sore place worse. This is not a simple friendship. It is a bargain negotiated every day by hunger, tolerance, irritation, and need. The fledgling does not understand the bargain. It only learns consequences. A sharp peck in the wrong place makes an antelope leap. Staying too long near a zebra's ear brings a violent toss of the head. Landing on a restless host wastes energy. Choosing a calm buffalo saves it. Following adults shows it which animals are worth the risk. The young bird begins to read posture. A lowered head, a soft ear, a skin twitch, a tail sweep, a sudden tightening before a shake. Its body is becoming more precise. The bill strikes faster. The feet move with confidence. The wings fold closer to the body during feeding. When the host walks, the bird shifts its weight instead of fleeing. It starts to ride not as a passenger, but as a worker. As weeks pass, the fledgling's world expands from one herd to many. It travels with buffalo at dawn, rests in trees during the heat, drops onto impala in the afternoon, and follows rhino tracks where dust gathers in deep prints. At night, some oxpeckers roost in trees or reeds, and in some places, oxpeckers may even spend the night on the bodies of large mammals. The boundary between bird and beast becomes practical. A giant can be a feeding site, a lookout tower, a moving shelter, and sometimes a bed. The young oxpecker is also learning sound. The calls of its family are not songs in the sweet sense. They are hisses, crackles, rough contact notes, and alarms. A flock of oxpeckers can chatter over a herd like dry grass in wind. These calls matter. To an animal with poor eyesight, a bird's alarm may carry information that the body cannot gather alone. Studies of black rhinos show that red-billed oxpeckers can improve a rhino's detection of approaching humans, giving the large animal more time and distance to react. A bird small enough to disappear behind a horn can change how a giant survives a threat. The young oxpecker hears alarm before it knows how to give it well. One afternoon, the herd feeds near a thicket. The air is still. The
still.
buffalo are half hidden in dust and light.
A
A strange movement comes from downwind, soft but wrong.
Keep watch.
An adult oxpecker lifts
coming
its head.
closer.
Another freezes on
Alarm!
horn. Then the alarm breaks out,
Snort. It's a
sharp and
predator.
hissing. The buffalo do not ask what the bird has seen. They raise their heads. The young oxpecker launches with the others as the herd begins to move. Hooves push dust into the sunlight. Egrets lift from the grass. The fledgling circles once, uncertain, then follows the adults to a tree. From above, it sees the whole pattern. Tiny birds notice quickly. Massive animals respond slowly, but powerfully. In the savanna, survival is often shared between different senses in different bodies. This is the fourth lesson. A rider is also a watcher. Month by month, the young bird loses more of its unfinished look. The bill begins to shift toward adult color. Its balance improves until a moving buffalo seems almost still beneath it. It can hang from the side of a giraffe, peer over a ridge of hide, and move under a belly where shadows hold insects. It can land, feed, lift, and return before the host becomes truly annoyed. It joins other oxpeckers in loose groups, sometimes riding the same animal, sometimes spreading across a herd like small brown sparks. Yet danger remains close. The young bird is not the only hunter of small things. Raptors watch from high air. Snakes search hollows. Mongooses nose through low cover. Storms can scatter a flock. Drought can thin the herds and reduce the ticks that sustain them. In places where livestock are treated with chemicals to kill parasites, oxpeckers may lose food or be harmed by the poisons used against the insects. The bird's life is tied not only to wildlife, but to the way humans manage cattle, land, and disease. It survives by staying attached to movement. When the buffalo cross a dry wash, it rides. When zebra bunch at a waterhole, it circles above them. When giraffes step slowly through acacia shade, it follows their high bodies from tree to tree. Each giant offers a different world. A rhino's back is a fortress of thick skin. A buffalo is a dark continent of mud, hair, heat, and ticks. A giraffe is a vertical landscape, all patterned light and long muscle. The oxpecker is small enough to fit into the details the giants cannot reach. This is the secret of its scale. It does not need to overpower Africa's largest animals. It needs to know where they itch. By the time the bird is fully confident, the nest hollow is far behind it. It no longer waits in darkness for food to arrive. It goes to the source. It lands on a buffalo before sunrise and begins work as the herd warms under the first light. It searches, probes, pauses, calls, and feeds. It rides as the buffalo walks, keeping balance through every shift of muscle. It lifts when the host rolls in dust, then returns when the body settles. It follows the herd not because it belongs to the herd, but because its life is braided around theirs. One day, the young oxpecker returns to a cavity in a tree. Not as a helpless chick, as part of a group. Inside, another clutch waits in the dark. The nest is lined with grass and mammal hair, the same rough comfort that held its own beginning. Adults come and go. Helpers arrive with food. Below, buffalo stand in the heat, ears flicking. Ticks still grip the skin. Flies still search for damp places. The old pressure of the savanna continues, and the answer to it is not one species acting alone. A giant cannot remove every parasite from its own hide. A bird cannot raise its young without the bodies that feed it. The tree cannot build a nest without hair from the mammals below. This is the rule of the oxpecker's life. The small survive by reading the large endure by tolerating the small, and the savanna holds both in a balance that is never perfectly kind, but always alive. The baby that once trembled inside an egg now stands on the back of an animal thousands of times its weight. Its claws grip coarse hair. Its bill flashes red in the sun. Around it, the herd moves forward, carrying the bird across grass, dust, insects, wounds, warnings, hunger, and rain. It was born in a dark hollow. It grew by swallowing what the giants carried. And now, above the breathing hide of Africa, it has become what it was shaped to be. A tiny life riding the enormous world that raised it.